the church that I grew up in was in Paramount. I attended high school programs, and then I hopped in the Marine Corps. And
I was actually raised Catholic, so we had a lot of catechism, growing up, CCD classes. When I was younger, I decided to walk away. When I was a teenager, you know, I went through the whole evolution, science makes more sense than God makes sense.
I came in through a program called Celebrate Recovery, and it was a group just to get back on your feet.
It was when I became pregnant with Marley that I knew that I needed something bigger than me, and that I was going to raise my daughter a different way. So that's when I started listening to Jesus, when he became louder.
And they embraced me with open arms, and it was like a family. And
I came to CBC for an Easter service, and I enjoyed the service. And then a series of events years later, a friend went to CBC, so I started going with them when Marley was 2 years old.
And then I decided to try out the church after being invited on a Sunday. And as soon as I heard Pastor Scott, I was like, awesome.
It was what I needed. The message was clear, and I gave my life to Jesus. I actually started going to Celebrate Recovery too, to learn more about myself and my walking with Jesus.
But I also saw Rosie was sitting right up there. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to keep on coming to church, boy. She's sitting right over there, and I think she's eyeballing me. So
I didn't meet Michael at CR, Celebrate Recovery, but I saw him there, and I was interested in him pretty quickly. I saw him from across the room.
I met Rosie at church, and I believe I was speaking to Brendan Prout, who's an awesome freaking guy, and Rosie came in and introduced herself, and I've seen her a few times, and I was like, wow, she's really beautiful.
The first chance I had to introduce myself to him, when he was talking to Pastor Brandon, I went up and I introduced myself to him because it was a comfortable position where I could slide in and introduce myself to him.
And but I'm just glad that she came and introduced herself, because I don't know what to open up the conversation with. So
we talked for weeks. And I wasn't quite sure if I was ready for a relationship, but I knew that he was special. I knew that he had something beyond friendship, but I wasn't sure how to take it beyond that.
Well, she was beautiful, obviously. She was independent, a great mother, firm in the faith, and a big thing was our communication was just key, and I could be open with her. That's what kind of hooked me in. Well, the big thing was the talks that we have, and how she was just always supportive of me and encouraging. I would just say she was just awesome, and it just hooked me in. That's all I can really say, you know. And it all seemed to just flow perfectly.
He was a gentleman the whole time. We talked on the phone, we texted, we talked after church, we started sitting together at church, and that's kind of when, you know, he asked me to the Marine Corps ball, and we went to that, and that was really our first big date.
We were getting closer, and I got orders to Brooklyn. So the first thought that hit me was, well, God, there's a big reason that how close we are and just how we click.
That wasn't even too long ago. That was right after we had found out that he was moving to Brooklyn.
We were just getting closer and closer, and I remember speaking with her, how she felt about going to Brooklyn, and she said she was all on board, and I was like, yup.
So it was a big deal, but we knew that we liked each other, and we knew that there was something definitely growing. I knew he was the one at the Marine Corps ball because of how he treated me. He introduced me to everybody. He was proud to have me hold his hand, and we walked around, and we were kind of in our own little world, you know, getting to know each other from a different aspect, a more intimate aspect.
God gave me her as just a beautiful gift.
And I just knew that it was going to grow from that point on. So after that is when we kind of decided, okay, we're going to do the big boyfriend-girlfriend thing, and we're going to figure out, you know, let God lead us in this relationship, and put Brooklyn aside, and put the future aside, and see what he had in store for us. I met his parents soon after that. We took a trip to Long Beach for Christmas, and it was soon after that he proposed to me. You know, we had our phone calls, and we had conversations what we were going to do, if we were going to do a long distance relationship, or if we were going to take it beyond that, you know. And obviously, if he was going to leave, I was going to go with him. You know, what it would be like to be a father to my daughter Marley, and what our options were. Always putting God first, and allowing him to kind of lead, and it seemed like doors just kept opening for us. He came back and took me out to dinner, and then took me up to Mount Soledad. It was late at night and dark, and there was lights, city lights everywhere, and he proposed to me. He said that he could go to every door where every light was, and knock and try to find somebody who made him feel like I made him feel, who gave him the same thing that we had, and he would never be able to find that person. That's how he knew that I was the right person for him, and that the only option was to get married and move to New York and see what God had in store for us, and I definitely think that you know, God has had his hand in this whole journey, even though it's been a short journey so far. I have complete faith that it's what he has in mind for us.
I'll just say that Jesus is just praise him. It's just, I know since I have come back that the amount of when I trusted in him to come back to him and rely on him, just all the blessings that have just come from that. Her, my beautiful daughter Marley. She's so beautiful, and that I just ask it. I just prayed to him, and I asked him to return me and to how I'm supposed to be, and he just gave me everything that I was searching for outside the church doors, and I realized that she was only just up the road. I truly can't answer if I didn't have them, or CBC, or Jesus Christ and his saving power. how I be right now, or the kind of person.
I'm looking forward to using what God has grown us into to put it into action. And I really think that that's what He has in store for us. I'm looking forward to having a family with my daughter. I think that we're incredibly blessed to have been given a man that wants to be a father to my daughter and to a husband to me.
I can't wait to begin a family and to begin the next chapter, but the biggest point was how it's supposed to be done. A part of Christ's family to help raise a beautiful child in God. No matter how the rest of the world handles its business, but with love and compassion at the forefront of everything, and God on top. To always remember that if we rely on Him, how good He's done.